Hello, folks. How are you, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Fly Spirit Away. So, building on the same topic, um, yesterday what we did about like the brain has no stop button, and continuing similarly on the same topic. Today we are gonna talk about what is pain and what is suffering. So I just want to make a very clear differentiation between the two of them, that what is categorized as pain and what is categorized as suffering. Knowing the true nature of each one of them, will always help you to cope it in a much better fashion. So let me start and let me first tell what is exactly pain is. Well, pain is, if I define straightforwardly, it's a simple cause and effect. Something happened to my body. I got hurt somewhere. I had a small cut. While cooking something, my finger got burnt. I'm in pain. I fell from the bike. I have some bleeding. I have pain. The body is telling you that something is not right with your body. Please take care of it. It's pain. So, something which is very straightforward and very obvious, pain. With what you feel that requires an immediate action. You've been in an accident. Something has happened to your body. Please take action. Pain. I'm trying to really miniaturize and maybe I'm not doing a great justice just defining pain in this way. But also the pain could have a different connotation, that I was going in a car, some of my relative got hurt in a car accident. Nothing happened to my body, but yeah, my relative or someone else which is close to me got deeply affected by it. Right? That is also pain, and it requires an immediate action. That something needs to be taken. The person needs to be taken to the hospital. It's an immediate need. That's pain. So that is pain. That's categorized as pain. And action is definitely needed right away. That's not a choice. That is our defined as saying that wherever there's a pain, an action is immediately needed. A planning is needed. That how can I simply eliminate the pain, make sure that it does not carry on any further. Okay, so now that we are done with the pain piece of it, what is suffering? That is where I was coming down to you guys, mostly for suffering. Because we don't go through the phases of pain all the time, but to suffering we go all the time, unknowingly. And my core point of covering this topic is just to make sure that how we can eliminate 95% of our life if people going through bad times. It's nothing but mostly suffering. It doesn't require immediate attention to your body, but it's what's happening in your mind, what's in your thought, in your brain. It's about an event that happened in the past. The past is gone, but the thought process of that event is still running in your brain. And you're constantly thinking about it. No more valid. That scenario is gone. But it just keeps on hurting you still. It's because of you having that experience of it. And that experience hurt you so bad that you definitely think about it, what happened in the past, and you keep on thinking in now about the future, that this might happen in the future. Chances of happening is very unlikely, but since you're thinking about it and you keep on thinking in that direction about that subject, that means you keep yourself attached to that subject. Either you try to save yourself from that scenario not happening again, but the point is that you are just connected with that subject and it keeps on going in your brain. An event that happened 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, decade in the past has no relevance. It's gone. But the thoughts, the reverberations of that whole event, it constantly still keeps on running in your brain. That is suffering. That is suffering. And most of the people in the world basically goes through this kind of scenario where they suffer for an event which is no more relevant. So to clarify, I mean, it is the same what I said earlier in my previous video, that yes, the suffering piece which you're suffering, which you of the bad process that you are suffering through, is also related with the good times that you have it, because when you have a good times, you're thinking about the good times, right? And it was just in your thought process, and you might think this might happen, this will happen, and that good thing happened to me. So that was a great time, and you are feeling good at that point in time. But the reverse cycle of it is also equally true. That if something bad happens and if it stays with you in your memory and you just think about it, then the other side also is equally good, and definitely you will not feel great about it. So if suffering is of any value, does that buy you anything? Everything in this world exists, they exist for a reason. Otherwise, it wouldn't have existed. We are part of the evolution, and everything makes sense. Now, I mean, if you look more carefully, for the event that happened in the past, it's very important that you better learn a lesson from that event. If you learn nothing, then that piece is no good. So yes, the first thing is that whatever event, you need to learn a lesson. And to learn a lesson, you need to self-reflect on that. That what was the flaws in me, or what is that caused that event to happen? And what is that need to be changed in me? Make sure that the same pattern does not repeat again. Because if I don't do anything about that event, then the same pattern is going to continue, and the same event will keep on repeating to myself no matter what. So having a self-reflection and learning a lesson, very key important to it. If you are aware of your suffering, that yes, something happened to that event in the past, and I am thinking about it, it's very important to have some kind of planning. So as long as you know you're planning, and as long as there's in that awareness, simply thinking about the subject and ruminating about it and not doing anything about it, but you're consciously in your awareness, you're planning that thing. So you know, okay, now I'm planning that event happened, and now how in the future, if this happened, I can protect myself, and you take care of the subject. If your planning is done, you covered yourself, you have a self-reflection, you learn the lesson, that event is of no more importance. But that thing needs to be done. After doing all this effect, after knowing that you are suffering about it, and after you being awareness, watching your thoughts, you know that you were thinking about those bad events, and you have taken those action, you are covered. That event, you get completely get rid from your mind, because knowing that I know what to do, what that happens next time, and you need not to suffer about this any moment. So now, when you sit on the sofa, when you drive on a highway, when you go anywhere, you will not let your mind constantly think about the subject and not to do anything about it, not to do anything about it. It's very important. So stay in your awareness that you are done and that thing is of no more relevance to it because you extracted whatever you need to be extracted from that event. You're covered. Most of the time, people are not even conscious about it. And being not conscious about it, being not in this awareness, they keep on silently rotting themselves inside out. They do rot inside out because those thoughts keep on coming their thing. Not realization, not thinking, not self-reflecting, not planning. It will continue to happen. So those suffering is trying to tell you that do something about it so that it does not happen. I mean, that is the lesson you're learning from that suffering. But if you don't learn from that, it will carry on. So that is what suffering is teaching you. I mean, I was telling you in a very long-term example because people think about the events that happened in the past and that could be very traumatic events, and I understand it. But even if it is not that traumatic event, these things happen on our daily life cycle too. I mean, I will give you a hypothetical example right now that it was a very good morning one day. I mean, it's a purely hypothetical, but I think you should be able to relate to it, that it's a great morning one day. And let's assume that you're preparing to getting ready to go in the office and you were in a very happy mood. You're looking forward to go there. And your boss was also doing the same thing, coming from the other side. He took his coffee, went to the elevator, and the elevator door bumped into his hand and he spilled his coffee. And the boss, suddenly his mood shifted, and now he has to clean the coffee, and he is saying, oh man, what a bad day to start with. And anyway, he asked some guy to hold the elevator door, and he got some paper, cleaned the door, and now he's already in a bad mood. Anyway, after 10 minutes of cleaning, he just went up in the room and he was looking for information or email coming for some tender that he applied. He has not received this email. He was getting very anxious. He may call you or any one person, and basically he comes and he just gets mad. Did you follow up or not? Did you follow up on the subject? Like, why I have not received the reply yet? Did you call him up? Now, he could have told in a very easy tone and very nice way, but no. The point is that he had a very bad morning and now he was anxious about it. And rather than simply asking someone to follow on it, he just become anxious, and in a very angry tone, he asked, can you please look into follow it up? You were coming in a very good mood. You were in a very good day. But suddenly, because of his mood, it starts reflecting on you. Oh my God, my boss is getting angry. I better do something about it. I just have to calm himself down. But was that your feeling? Were you feeling? No, you were feeling great when you started this morning. But suddenly your mood shifted because his mood is not good. Well, his mood is his problem, not your problem. Right? That didn't stop him from coming to me. Doesn't mean that I take it. Right? But most of the people, what happens? Yes, now suddenly your mood shifted. You went and delegated that duty to someone else in equally same furious manner. The way your boss told him, you pass the same thing. So what's happening? You just keep on passing all the anger, all the bad vibration from one person to another, and you pass it. And apparently till the end of the day, there was no such information about tender, and the boss was not in a grade, and you think I shouldn't go to his door anymore until I don't get some information on it. Anyways, end of the day, you start going back and you keep on thinking about it. Oh my God, what a bad day it was. And the thoughts are constantly running in your head, and you went to the garage and start taking your car out and since you were in deep thought process, you couldn't see the car that was coming behind it. You bumped into it because you were thinking of something else. And anyway, another bad thing happened to you. And anyway, you spent another 1 hour talking about the small fender bender and looking into the issue. And now you are suddenly in a bad mood. And when you went home, your kid was very happy and so happy to see you. And he was waiting on the door. And he was waiting for you to really go to some kind of grocery shop and something. And he's saying, Papa, let's go. And suddenly, what do? Oh, don't bother me right now. Oh, please go right now. I'm not in a good mood. And suddenly you transfer your day's anger to your kid. You see how the carnage is flowing? One tiny place it starts it and it goes all the way coming down to your home now. You remember the valleys, the big valleys that you really saw it, where you make a noise? And once we started making one noise, the noise echoes between the valleys, going left and right, left and right, left and right. You see, it is the same echo that's happening. Right? I mean, this is the real life scenario. Is it not going to happen? Of course it's going to happen. So what could we do about it? Is it suffering? Of course it is suffering. You made your boss suffered, you suffered, everyone else suffered along with it, and you see the carnage was everywhere. So how can you fix it? I mean, the fix was, again, very easy, but again, you got to build it. It was part of the awareness. You need to develop the consciousness. It could have been stopped right there when the boss told in angry tone, can you please look into it? So you could. It's his job that he can be angry, but it's not your thing that you take his anger on you. I'm not asking that you can shout back at him. That doesn't help either. But if you were in awareness at that point in time that, look, I understand he is not in a good mood. I'm not going to talk to him right now. This is his feelings. This is how he is feeling about it. I had an amazing day and I should not be taking his feelings onto me. That will not stop me from not doing my job, that I'm still going to follow up on the tender, but that feeling piece, I will leave it to him. That's your feeling, but I'm going to follow up on it. Right? And if you were in that awareness, sounds easier than done, but only practice can make it perfect. Sure, it is. If you start being aware that, look, this is not my feeling. This is his feeling and he has to stay this way. I'm going to do the job without taking his feeling. And none of the bad events would have happened. And you would have continued to have one amazing day. Right? So what is the lesson learned? The lesson learned was basically, it is part of building awareness, consciousness, and something I'll cover a little bit more in time. I mean, staying in the moment, staying in the moment. You don't live in the future. Your past is gone. Your past is no more relevant. The future has not yet arrived yet. The true moment is now. Now. The way I'm talking to you right now, that is the moment right now. And that is the truth, only thing which you see. And whatever the action or whatever you do it and whatever you're thinking right now, which will result into an action some point in time, I mean, that will show how your future is going to unfold that way. So the true moment is now. For all the bad thing, the suffering that happened in the past, the event, you learned the lesson. You took care of it. You self-reflected it. Discard. Easier said than done. I mean, that is part where you got to sit down and consciously being aware, and you need to watch your thoughts and you need to self-reflect. And once you're basically aware of your thoughts, you can simply, all the negative thoughts, by consciously, you can eliminate it. By conscious choice, I chose to eliminate those thoughts because I've taken care of it. Doesn't mean that thoughts will go away. Perhaps it will come then, but it will come with less potency next time. Eventually they will go away because every time you told, I worked on the thoughts does not belong to me anymore. There is no more value. It is simply putting weight on my head, which I'm carrying for no reason. I get rid of those weights. I've taken care of it. I've self-reflected it. I understood it. And because of this thing cannot happen in the future because I'll take care of it. Thank you. And once you go easy on yourself, you say thank you to yourself. I mean, your pity needs to be lying only with yourself. That's it. So once you do that, and once you go very easy on yourself, and you see your life will only start getting better. Guys, I hope you find something of relevance to you today. So anyway, I will see you definitely next time. Until then, peace on earth, peace everywhere.